Hey, everybody, it's Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River Cities Speedway. Oh, there we go. Brodee and Bobby Eckerdt on the show today. How about that? We're going to talk a little IMCA. We're going to talk some Hall of Fame stuff and all kinds of good things. Our show today, by the way, brought to you by Northwest Tire in Grand Forks, right down on Gateway Drive. They're looking to hire some people. Need a front counter salesperson. You'll be working with customers, writing up work orders, all of that kind of stuff, selling tires. You know, that's what you do. Pay will depend on experience. They got benefits like PTO, health insurance, 401k, all of that kind of stuff. If you want to find out more about this, get a hold of Chad at 701-780-8473, or you can apply online at nwtire.com. We're waiting for Chad. Hopefully the other half of the Bullring boys, he's working on it. Boy, that dude is busy. But hopefully he'll be in here in just a little bit. If you have any questions or comments for Brodee or Bobby, to 701-213-0863, our number. Feel free to text or call. I already got guys texting. John Biergar, good morning, guys. One more day. The wait is finally over. Race season is here. Yeah, Nick Curtis, good morning, guys. Okay, there we go, 701-213-0863. Time now for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. This is really horrible. I don't think Paul even liked it, but here we go. Was on my walk yesterday, and I got bit by a German Shepherd. I was walking down the street. The German Shepherd comes out, and he bites me, and I told my wife, and my wife is like, oh, my God, imagine if it would have been a small child. And I'm like, well, I could have fought off a small child. Come on. What do you think? Not bad, huh? All right. A couple of things we need to talk about here first. Let's see here. Track schedules. Oh, River Cities Speedway tomorrow. We're finally going. Wayne Anderson Cup qualifier tomorrow, so that means the NOSA Outlaw Sprints, Wissota Midwest Mods, Wissota Street Stocks, and the Wissota A-Mods are going to be there. I am so stoked for that. We had a test and tune the other night. Went really well. Devil's Lake Saturday, Pure Stocks, Wissota Street Stocks, Wissota Midwest Mods, and the Wingless Sprints. And Sunday, the season opener at Buffalo River Speedway in Glendon. We were just talking earlier before we went on the air, and boy, I tell you what, they have done a lot of work over at Buffalo River Speedway. Jason and the crew over there doing a fantastic job. Let's see here. Also, I have got, last night, Forks Karting Association was supposed to get their season started. They got rained out. They kind of made it just a little bit of a practice night, work out some bugs. It sounded like it went pretty good there until the rain started. And I have also got the Forks Karting Association raffle tickets here for sale in the studio. They're $10 a pop. Somebody out there is going to win $2,000. That's not bad for $10, all right? So hit me up if you are looking for Forks Karting Association tickets. And also, are we going to give those away today, Paul? This? Yeah. Okay. Also, you want to play that quick, or how should we do this? Okay, watch this for just a second. See if we can get this on here. We got another giveaway here we'll do quick. The Midsummer Gone Country Music Fest is happening June 1st through June 3rd in Monaga, Minnesota. There's 14 hit country music acts playing over 3 days, like Blackhawk, Colt Ford, Easton Corbett, and more. General admission, in addition to having on-site camping, will be available for RVs and tents. To find out more information about the Midsummer Gone Country Music Fest and how to buy additional tickets, scan the on-screen QR code, check out their Facebook page or their website at midsummermusicfest.com. All right, now, by the way, all you have to do if you want to win these passes, which are worth like $300, is sometime between now and the end of today's Dirty Thursday show, go over to gfbestsource.com. You hit the Contact Us link at the top of the webpage and a message stating, I want those tickets, and we will randomly choose a winner. We will try to do that before the end of the show today. So, again, just go to gfbestsource.com, hit the Contact Us link, and you could win the pair of those tickets. Again, worth about $300. So sounds like it's going to be a great time. Okay, I think we got everything done. First off, our first guest, let's introduce him, everybody. He drives the B2. This is Brodee Eckerdt. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah.
You're not a man for words very much, are you?
Not really, no.
He's a little different.
Yep.
We'll talk a lot with you. And how you doing, old man?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Good. I'm calling you old man. I'm making fun of him, and I don't even hardly know you guys. But we got a lot to talk about. First off, and I had mentioned it to Brodee, he can bring a guest with, and I was kind of hoping he was going to lean your way. I wasn't really sure, but Bobby, everybody knows you. I knew who you were before I even knew who you were. It's just one of those things, and that's not a bad problem to have, but we talked a little bit beforehand. You raced for how long?
For pretty much all my life, but I really didn't get serious with it till 98, 99, in that time frame. And we raced until August of 2012.
Yeah.
The last night I raced.
Do you have any idea how many features you won? Track championships, any of that kind of stuff?
The championships, I don't. We're at 97 feature wins.
Wow. And some health issues kind of cut your career. I don't know if you want to call it short because you raced for a long time, but you ever think about those 3 more that could have got you to the hundo?
It's funny you say that because it's still in the back of my mind that I would really like to get, them 3 just to make that mark.
Yep.
In August of 2012, I didn't think it was over.
Mm-hmm.
We had won that last race at Red River Valley Speedway when the Schatzes had owned the track. They had a year-end blowout, and sort of a funny story. I was struggling with my back. That's pretty much what has taken me away from the racing. And I was having some motor trouble, and one of my best racing friends, Matt Peterson from Fargo, had asked me to come down and race that event. His son, Tyler, was just started his B-modified career, and they were racing for Schatzes that night in Fargo, and I just told Matt, I said, I'm sorry, but I just got too much going on. I just don't want to, I can't take the time to put a motor in this car for one last race. And of all things, he called me up and he said, you have that car in Hillsboro tonight, he said, at 6 o'clock. That was on like a Tuesday night. And I'll take your car, I'll put a motor in it for you.
Wow.
And you're going to be here Friday night to race. So he borrowed me a motor, he put the motor in my car, and brought it back on Thursday night. We met in Hillsboro on Thursday night, went and raced Friday, and of all things, it was the last race.
Yeah.
I'd won.
And you won it.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't know the 97 number, the reason I asked you that, because before we went on the air, I asked you, I said, do you miss being in the seat? And your answer was every day. It's hard to walk away from it, isn't it? I mean, did you have, did you go that time? I can remember even, and then when you're done, you stay away. Did you stay away from the racetrack? Because it seems like almost every guy I know, the majority of them, if they hang it up, they won't go to the track for at least a year or two because they know how hard it is. Or were you that kind of guy, or did you go right back and spectate? Because I know it ain't easy spectating when you're used to being a driver.
Good question. Did I go back? I did. Probably just because I love the sport so much.
Sure.
Not as, from a competitor standpoint, but I still just love watching the racing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think, we'll get into what's going on here, but you think there's ever a chance for you to get back in a car?
It's funny you say that. I was in Minneapolis at the doctor trying to get some treatment on my back and my feet. And long of the story, the short is they put some numbing medication in some of the nerves I'm having trouble with on Tuesday. And when I called my wife on the way home, the lidocaine or whatever I got was working, and it was
Bobby, all kinds of giddy.
Oh, and I told my wife, I said, man, if I keep feeling like this, I said, there'll be a couple of race cars on order here real quick,
And what does she say about that?
She's been with me the whole time.
Yeah. Well, she knew what she was getting herself into.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And great gal, supported me forever. And she'd let it happen.
All right. That's cool. I'm looking forward to it. I hope I see it happen. All right, we better go to the kid here that actually we've been promoting all week. IMCA Hobby Stock driver, Brodee Eckerdt. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Get that mic right up by your face. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I don't want to know anything about racing. You're a student. What's the deal?
I go to Red River High School.
And I'm not going to hold that against you. I say that to everybody that goes there. But anyway, yeah.
I go to Red River, and I'm 17. I'm a junior, and going to graduate next year, and hopefully, my feet a little bit.
Yeah. Now it's weird when you're in high school. I would imagine. I don't know if you play sports or anything. Most guys I know that race cars, they didn't or don't. But people can go into their high school, walk down the hallway, and say, "Hey, man, you had a great hockey game last night," or "Hey, you look great at the Cushman Classic." Blah blah blah. But how many people get to go to you and say, "Dude, you tore it up last night at Fargo"? Do people even know, besides your good friends, that this is what you do for fun?
Well, I usually talk about it with my closer friends, yeah, but if I know somebody at school, they barely know.
Yeah.
Like I try to get them into it, but they just don't have it.
Yeah. How did you get your start? I mean, obviously with your dad, but have you always been running the hobby stock, or did you start with carts? Or walk us through how things got going for Brodee Eckerdt.
Well, my dad took me to a go-kart race when I was about 5 years old, and my good buddy Parker was racing, and I was like, "Hey, Dad, I want to do that someday." And he just bought me a cart, and just went from there. Raced that till I was like 10, something like that. Went to something called a slingshot. We raced those in Jamestown, got them started. And then raced those for 3 or 4 years. And then I was ready to make the jump to Wissota Street Stocks that we raced here a little bit, and Jamestown, Devil's Lake, something like that. Had a little scary moment up in Warren, Manitoba once. I rolled my car. We had to sell that one, but oh my God, it was scary.
How many times you roll it?
Oh God, probably
Enough?
5, 6 times.
Yeah.
It was plenty.
Yeah. Was Mom there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What Mom have to say about it?
Oh, she was scared to death.
And I mean, it's not funny, but it kind of is. I mean, did you get hurt?
Oh no.
No, I mean, these cars are pretty darn safe. We hear about accidents, and guys do get hurt, but guys get hurt walking across the street too, and walking down their stairway. But so you just decided one day you wanted to race, and the old man hooks you up for this. That didn't work for me. But how cool is that, huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty fortunate.
I got a text here from Terry Blacklance. I've got a late model that Bobby could hop in just to play some night. Oh, good. You see? Yeah.
It's not that I don't want to, Terry. Work in progress.
Yeah, I talked to Terry for just a couple of minutes at Test and Tune the other night. It's always good to see him. All right, so you get into this IMCA Hobby Stock. How was the learning curve for that?
Well, since I've been racing street stocks a little bit, it's been, I'd say it wasn't an easy jump, but it was pretty rather, nice, because like there's a little speed difference in the cars,
Sure.
and it's a better learning experience for me besides that street stock.
Yeah.
I'd love to get back into a street stock someday, but I think the hobby stock's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. So you did street stocks for a while, and then you decided with the IMCA Hobby Stock. Now, a lot of people don't know this. What is the difference between the IMCA Hobby Stock and the Wissota Street Stock?
They're very similar. The frames, the skeleton of the cars are virtually identical. A few minor changes. The biggest difference is that the tire in the Wissota Street Stock compared to the Hobby Stock is much different. The tire in the Wissota Street Stock is a dedicated race tire. The tire in the IMCA is a dedicated street tire that you would use on your vehicle.
I didn't know that.
Biggest thing there is the financial cost.
Sure.
The street tires are a little bit less money.
Yeah.
They last longer. So that's a big difference. The motors are similar, same family, similar. Few minor changes. The Wissota car has more performance than the IMCA ones per the rules. The exhaust is different, a little bit more limited on IMCA versus the Wissota. Transmissions now are a huge difference. We use a transmission in the IMCA car that was prevalent in the late 60s in the General Motors era.
Yeah.
If you want to use an automatic, you can. It's power glide transmission.
Sure.
Or the other choice is a manual 3-speed that you would see in your
Yeah.
1969 Impala.
Probably not on the tree.
Yeah, right. So there's some differences there. They're similar. They're the same family. They look the same.
Yep.
Just pretty much it boils down to the rules.
Yep.
And who dictates them. You know, they're a different sanctioning body.
So if you were to put 5 Wissota Street Stocks on the track along with 5 IMCA Hobby Stocks, what would the finish be like on most times?
You know, the track conditions would play a lot into that. If you had a horsepower track where traction was available,
Sure.
you're not comparing apple to apple.
Right, okay.
If the track was dried off and a little more polished up, where it's a little more finessey, the Wissota car would still have an advantage. But I'm not saying that you couldn't get an IMCA car up in the top 5.
Well, and you know, it doesn't matter what class. I mean, we've seen it before with the Outlaw Sprint cars. There's some guys that are maybe still running a 360 or something, but depending on track conditions, they still got a little something for those 410s. And speaking about got a little something, look who walked in the studio today. The one, the only, the other half of the Bullring Boys, Chad Hoff.
Better late than never.
Thank you for coming in, dude.
Yeah, you betcha. Not a problem. Sorry I'm late.
I got that text, and it's like, oh, man.
I know.
I don't even know these guys, and I need them.
I shoot them out the door.
That's what I see.
Yeah, I shoot them out the door. I'm going to open up my Coke Zero in case everybody wants to know. It's a Coke Zero.
Isn't that just a wrap?
No, it's not.
Okay,
It's legit.
okay. Say, by the way, jeez. Anybody, we still have those tickets up for grabs. What are we giving away? It's a pair of tickets, 3-day passes for the Midsummer Gone Country Music Fest down in Monaga. Black Hawk, Colt Ford, Easton Corbin.
Yeah, Colt Ford's a good one.
Yeah. These tickets, the two of them worth about $300. So,
Say that name again, Monaga.
Monaga. Yeah, Monaga, Minnesota. Yeah. It's not that far away, a couple-hour drive. Here's what you do. You go to gfbsource.com. You hit the Contact Us link at the top of the webpage, and then you message us saying, I want those tickets. Do it. We'll pick somebody to win sometime during the show here.
You can head on over to Monaga.
Monaga. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Chad Hoff is back. Brodee and Bobby Eckerdt.
I know these two. Yep.
You got any questions for him? Because I got a lot more. But
you got a lot more. No, you go ahead. I'm interested. I liked hearing about the switch over from the Wissota to the IMCA. That's pretty. It's a difficult decision. I bet it was because this is your home track, right? And now you got to travel to Fargo all the time for racing. Yep. I mean, that's different. But you are a very dominant driver, and I believe still the youngest, winningest one in Fargo.
He had that record, Chad, for a while, and Dad was pretty proud of that because that was, 68 years of competition. That record, that he broke.
Wow. That is crazy.
You didn't know that, huh?
No.
That is cool.
I mean, now, correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, let's see, track championship at Red River Valley Speedway.
How many times
Norman
is that
County
now?
Raceway.
How many times is that now, Red River Valley?
2.
2 championships there. You won Norman County.
2.
Championship there. How many there?
Just the one.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Okay, so here's last year now. Red River Valley Speedway champion, Norman County Raceway champion, 11 wins, 17 top 5s, 18 top 10s, 2 points championships. Not a bad year.
Yeah, not bad at all.
He's a wheelman for sure.
No kidding.
I feel bad for Corey Linton because I had him in Victory Lane too, and it's tough to get words out of him edgewise, but we do a good job.
You ever get excited?
Yeah.
If you watch him, you can tell he's definitely not like his dad.
No kidding.
But he is a wheelman, though. I mean, you get to watch him here at home at the home track where we have him, and he's a wheelman. Does a really good job.
Yeah.
He likes where you can definitely feel out where the track positions are, where it's wet. He finds the traction.
Yeah.
So
and the very first time I saw you run, I don't know if we were here or if we were at maybe I was up at Devil's Lake. I can't remember,
Right.
but all I knew was who's Brodee Eckerdt, and I go, well, it's got to be related to Bobby. It has to be, and I started figuring it out, and B2? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's got to be, he's got to be Bobby's kid. But explain to me now, before we get to that point,
I know where you're going.
There's this national stuff that he was trying to explain to me. But before we get into that, people have been telling me a rumor that you are maybe going to move to a modified. Now, explain how this is going to work with the modified. Then I'm going to go to you, and you can explain how this whole national thing works. Because, yeah, okay, tell us about this.
Well, basically all my life, since my dad used to race modifieds, I've always wanted to drive a mod.
Sure.
So it's a feeling out process for this year, but we're hoping to get it on the track by, I don't know, next week, test and tune.
Is this a Wissota A mod or IMCA?
It is a IMCA sport mod, but
Sport mod, okay.
We're building it so we can make it into a Wissota B mod if we have to.
Okay. Okay.
We'll be able to switch it nightly by simply changing tires, which is
Yep.
one end you're going to have a little bit of a disadvantage, but
Yeah.
at least we'll be able to come to River Cities
Yeah.
and perform, by changing tires and a couple other small.
So your schedule will be pretty big then if you start going to the sport mod, Wissota B mod. I mean, that's going to be.
Well, I told John earlier, I said, I think the goal for this year with this modified is in IMCA, he can race 15 nights this year. If you hit 16, you're kicked out of the Rookie of the Year ranking. So if we can do 15 or under in IMCA this year, and he shows that he's got some promise in this class after a month or two here down the road, then we'll probably try and run for the National Rookie of the Year in IMCA next year
Right.
with that modified.
Sure.
With Wissota, we can race, I believe, 5 nights this year and still apply to run for the Rookie of the Year next year. So we'd have to make a decision over the winter. Do we want to concentrate?
Which one do you want to go for?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know your pit crew's pretty hard on you sometimes, huh?
Oh, yeah.
I bought a I can about imagine. That's Dad.
Yeah, I got in trouble last night on the way home from Fargo.
You did testing to him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I tease my friends that, the sermon lasted till Hillsborough or the sermon lasted till Thompson, or sometimes they never end,
Right,
by the
yeah.
time you get home. But last night I got in trouble. We talked about a couple things, and looks at me out of the corner of his eye and said, "It was just a practice."
Right.
That happened to me years ago, but it was hockey. And it got to the point where I quit talking.
Yeah.
I figure, okay, he knows enough now where I'm just going to leave it and I'm not going to say anything. There were some really quiet rides home, but he knew enough where if he wanted to bring it up, I'd talk about it.
Yeah.
You get sick and tired of hearing the old man say, "Come on, man, you got to move your feet. Come on, man, put your head up," and all of that. And
Parker has luxury of having me coach him in football and baseball.
oh
so,
boy, isn't he lucky?
So he's getting the sermon a lot. So and this weekend we travel to Fargo for a tournament. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Cool. Boy, Fargo, do you see they scheduled over 1,900 games in youth baseball, not counting tournaments.
Yeah. What is your son doing?
He drinks a lot of beer while he's doing it. I don't know how the hell they do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the mod thing, now, how important
This
is
is
it?
so cool.
Because are you a mechanically inclined kid? I mean, did you grow up taking crap apart and putting it back together? Or did it come down to where the old man is saying, look, if you want to do this, you've got to learn how to work on this stuff? Or have you always been that kind of guy? Or how is that going for you?
Well, I'm taking an autos class in high school, and that's what I want to do when I'm older.
Okay.
But, my dad just tells me what to do, and he shows me how to do it, and then I just figure it out.
Okay.
Dude, you got a hell of a teacher. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so to have the experience that your dad has in the field, especially racing, there's a lot of racers out there that learn that don't have that kind of backing. You know what I mean? Have that experience in your corner. So yeah, soak in this sponge as much as you can. That way, when he can't do it no more, and you're like, I know what I'm doing, Dad. Then you can look the side eye at him then too, and be like, come on.
Yeah. Get out of my shop.
Then you're already doing what he's thinking. So to have that knowledge that's a big deal. So if you can soak that in, that's just my parenting tip of the day.
Yeah,
soak that in, buddy, because I wish a lot of the driver. My dad taught me how to fix snowmobiles. I just soaked that in.
Yep.
A lot of parents don't have that ability. The kids want to do the job. They want to race. They want to be there, but they have to have somebody come help them figure it out.
Yeah, my dad taught me how to siphon gas.
Yeah. See, he has so much in his corner right now of what,
for sure.
So I just pushing a little bit to, soak it in. I know it gets frustrating sometimes because it is our dad telling us, well, you got to do this and this and this, but They're doing it for a reason. And later on, I will tell you later on, I'll be like, God damn it, my dad was right. And he was, I'm not telling him that, but well, unfortunately I told everybody now, but so soak it in, dude, because you're going to, in the experience you have right now, and just with your wins and everything you have, and if the mod stuff goes well, holy crap, this kid's going to be a terror.
I mean, you know what?
Going to be a terror.
You know, Bobby, River Cities Speedway Hall of Fame.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you got a pretty darn good teacher there.
Yeah.
We do have a question. Let's see. Ask Bobby if you can run a 16-volt battery in a sport mod. That's from Matt.
Matt Peterson asked that question.
That's my dear friend right there. He's got my corner, doesn't he?
Okay, story. Yeah, it's story time.
16-volt battery.
Yeah, 100% my fault.
Yeah.
Look you right in the eye and tell you that. We raced pretty hard in a super stock, and when they were fading, the Wissota Midwest mods were gaining ground.
Yep.
So we decided we better have one of them and race not only the super stock but the Wissota Midwest mod at the same time.
Okay.
So in the super stocks, the rules stated you could run whatever battery you wanted. 99% of all vehicles use a 12-volt battery.
Right.
In the racing world, they make 16-volt batteries. Very, very small advantage, but an advantage. It's about 2 horsepower back in that day that it would give you.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I didn't know that.
I had an extra one on the shelf, a 16-volt battery. So when we were building our Midwest Modified, it was common sense that, there's a brand new battery sitting on the shelf. Let's put it in the Modified. And, it was sticking out the back of the Modified. It said 16V right on the back of it.
Yeah.
And clear as day, God, and everybody could see it just as well as anything, sticking out the back. And we started off pretty good in the car. We won a few features, and at the time, Kevin Friff was running Devil's Lake Speedway and wanted a 66 lap. Why 66? I don't know. But a 66 lap, $1,000 to win Midwest Modified show.
Yeah.
Don't sound like a big deal in today's world, but that's pretty big back then.
That was big money.
Sure.
So we set our sights on, of course, winning that race.
Right.
And we did. And a few of my fellow competitors had waited till that night to file an official protest on can't have a 16-volt battery.
Oh, jeez. Couldn't beat you, so they had to beat you one way or another, huh?
Nobody's fault but my own.
No, well,
It's probably in the rule book, but
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
absolutely. If you read the fine print, and nobody's fault but mine. But the more of the story is, it was a kick in the shin.
Yeah.
Lost $1,000, which hurts.
Yeah.
Nice trophy, beautiful trophy,
Yeah.
4-foot trophy. Travis Sauer actually was second behind me, and the promoter asked me. He said to give him the trophy back, and of course I wanted that trophy. I still won that race, right?
Yeah.
So I said, would it be okay if I was to pay for that trophy, whatever it costs, and you could get Travis another trophy? And he agreed.
Oh, nice.
Get my battery. I still got the battery today. The soda confiscated the battery, which is protocol.
Right.
sure.
And, of all things, it sat on a shelf out in Devil's Lake, and he couldn't ship it because you couldn't ship a hazardous material with liquid in it real easy back then. So he called me one day when the season was over, and might even been a year and a half later.
Yeah. Come get your battery.
And he said, you want this? I said, I need it as a trophy.
Yeah.
So I have that battery and the battery charger. Took a special charger to charge it. Sitting on my shop. And every now and then somebody will ask, what the heck's that doing up there? Well, if you got 15 minutes, here goes the story.
Here's the story.
No, that's funny.
That's actually a
'cause
cool story.
Rob Ryerson says, Matt Peterson, you win. And Matt replied, more stories, but I'll keep them to myself. LOL. Now, I wanted to ask you this, Brodee. If, say, the old man would actually put a 16-volt battery in your car and you got popped for it, would you be able to yell back at him?
That's a good question. I have no idea.
We're just gonna leave it at that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
I love what they say. That's a good
best
question.
part of
And I'll
that-
leave it at that.
That whole story was he had the same race the following year. And we went back and, boy, the meter was on kill.
yeah.
We had one thing to do, and there was nothing else was
Prove it.
acceptable
Yep.
going home.
Yep.
And we ended up doing that, and that was with a 12-volt battery.
So you kind of got your justice back, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it put a final stamp on that story.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you couldn't beat me with a 16 volt, and you called me out on it. Well, here you go, son.
Great.
I'm gonna bring my 12 volt and kick your.
Unfortunately, my good friends can never forget about that.
Well,
Yeah,
of course
right.
not. That's what good friends are for.
It's always good story times.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's perfect.
Brodee, now I know it's got to help, an advantage, if you will, when you first start, having a dad that got the knowledge and the racing ability and the skills that your dad has. Now, how much of that is rubbing off on you? Are you able to say now, you know what, we need to either change the gears or we need to change the setup? Are you comfortable with that, or do you still kind of lean on the old man a little bit for maybe what he can see from the pits, or can you come in now and say, hey, we need to fix this? Or do you kind of both work together on this?
Well, it goes either way. Like, if he usually finds the problem and tells me that we need to do this, but sometimes, occasionally, I will say that something's up.
Yeah.
Stevenator, Brodee. We love the Stevenator.
When you see, like, your dad was just talking about his biggest wins he had in his career, that $1,000 to win. Have you had any races that are big money up yet?
Well, last year there was 2 races in Ada and Fargo for $500 to win. And they had to draw through the top 10, and in Ada I fortunately drew the number 2 spot.
Oh,
And there was how many cars there? Like,
It was a full field that night.
yeah, full
So
field.
25 plus then there.
I was set on kill the whole time. I was running up front. I got passed, and then there was a caution. So, restart. I was just gone after that. Good racing throughout, but yeah, it was pretty much I had it made.
now that's twice I have heard that term. I was on kill the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay, you say we got good questions. Let's throw this one out there. If the old man does happen to get back in a car again, I asked this one to John Sang when
Yeah,
he was
you
here.
did.
Okay, and you've got Bobby and Brodee, last lap, coming out of turn 4, side by side. Announcers like me are about pooping their pants up there. You gonna trade paint? Is it still gonna be on kill? I'll ask you first.
You know, if I ever do get to race my dad, I'm going to be set out to beat him.
Yeah,
That's an awesome
one way or another. Would you put him into the wall? Would you
I
rub
would
him a
not
little
put
bit?
him into the wall. Race
No.
him clean.
Yep. Okay. And how about you, Dad?
Yeah, Dad's got less nights, in his
Yeah.
inventory than what the kid does. I wouldn't wreck him, but I'd maybe get him out of my way for
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
You just hit him, just give him a little tap.
I figured his answer would change a little bit when he first said I would never put him into the wall like that. I figured you'd ease up on your answer
Well,
a
no,
little bit.
he's gonna say that because then he's got to work on it.
Right,
See, that's so you put him in the wall. Guess what you're doing tonight? We're gonna go hit the hammer here.
Tony Obergon asked Bobby about our cross-country run from Grand Forks to Aberdeen to Deer Creek and back to Aberdeen in a snowstorm and then encounter with an ex-pro hockey player. Huh? What?
Oh my!
Boy, these friends I got, I'll tell you.
Do we have enough time?
You thought they were your friends.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We were chasing Superstock national points. I think we were in 2nd or 3rd in the nation. Buzzy Adams won that year. Wissota ranks your best 30 shows, and you can race 200 if that's what you want, but
Yep.
they take your best 30.
Yep.
So it came down to the end of the year at Aberdeen. They used to call it the Winter Nationals. Terry Volk used to run the track there. It was nice in Grand Forks. The weather was good, and we were working on our 31st show, so I had one show to kick out. Buzzy Adams, which now does our vinyl work on our car, was leading the nation, and I think Buzzy that year had 96 or 98 nights. So Buzzy was going to be able to kick out
Wow.
68 nights, and
Yeah.
we were working on one, and Buzzy was there. I was planning on going. So we took off in this old Chevy dually we had, heading for Aberdeen, and we stopped at the rest area right there on the corner of Highway 12, I believe, where you turn to go into Aberdeen.
Yep.
And it was cold. I mean, it was like, wow. We got out, and it was like 28, 29 above cold. It's like, this can't happen.
Right.
And so we sat on the corner and waited for a couple hours, deciding what to do. Deer Creek was racing that night. And it's like, oh, Terry finally pulled the plug. He's going to have a Saturday, Sunday show instead of a Friday, Saturday. So off we went, going pretty near as fast as that old dually would go up and down the road, 3.5 miles to the gallon.
Back when gas
for
was a
Deer
little
Creek.
cheaper.
Yeah.
And Brad Sang was, I don't know if he had a super stock back then. It might have been right during the transition, probably a late model, early stages of his late model career. And I called him. I said, come on, let's go. Let's go to Deer Creek. If we go hard, we'll make it. And we did. He was behind me maybe by an hour, I suppose. And it was one of them times where you feel like a cold coming on.
Oh, yeah. You can feel it. Yep.
It's like, holy smokes, this is one of the dumbest things we have done in a long time. It didn't feel real good, but you had to race, right?
Yep, sure you do.
Never would have caught Buzzy.
Yeah.
We had one night to go. Buzzy had 68.
Yeah.
You know? So off we went. We headed cross country through Minnesota, heading towards Deer Creek. Called the racetrack about every 30 minutes, and it was, don't want to degrade anybody, but the lady said, keep coming, you know, we're on. We get about halfway there, and it's snowing. Like, boy, there's something wrong here, you know? Had to keep going, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Had to keep moving.
That's what you do.
So it quit snowing, and we get about 30 miles away from the racetrack, and she called me back and said, I'm sorry, it's raining now, and it's going to turn to snow.
Oh, no.
And at this point, I was sick. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just wanted a bed. And
Yeah.
I had the flu and cold and sore throat, you name it, you know, it's just down and out. So of all things, I told my wife, I said, you have got to drive back to Aberdeen so we can race. And she did. I think Tony was with us. I know he wasn't. I think he might have been the one that got me sick because he was sick himself too. So we stopped at a truck stop. I got myself, it seemed like a quart of NyQuil back then.
Yeah,
Down
yeah.
the hatch she went.
Oh, yeah.
Climbed in the back seat of that dually with my 100-pound yellow lab. Used him as a pillow. And I kicked my shoes off sometime throughout the night. Denise was driving that dually down the road, and I could hear her just constantly. She was on the gas, off the gas, and I forgot about it for a while and put the blinders on. Finally, it's like, something's wrong. I said, Denise, what's going on? She goes, there's cars all over in the ditch, and there's a snowmobile next to us going down the road. I said, what the world? I said, pull over. You know, I don't know if it was a NyQuil that was
Right.
making me all whacked out, but sure enough, off she goes, and I open up the door, jump out on the passenger side on the interstate. I think it was I-90 we were on. Hadn't turned to go north yet. 6 inches of snow, standing there in my bare feet with my, you know, my short or my socks.
Yeah.
It's like, what happened? You know? So I jump in the truck, drive back to Aberdeen. We get into the hotel like at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And we had to win that deal.
Yep.
No second, no nothing. We had to win. So we went Saturday night and raced, and things did not go well. Can't remember the guy's name in respect to him, but he was a retired NHL hockey player. And I knew I had to win the heat, start up front. There were 60-some cars there. I put a little pressure on the guy.
Yeah.
And I accidentally got into this hockey player guy. And came back to the pits with my head hanging a little bit, and Tony standing next to me. And I shut my car off, and I looked up at him, and please tell me that guy's not walking over here. He was about 10 spots down from us. you
Yeah.
know. Nobody's looking at you, and his arms are waving pretty hard, Tony says. I got my composure a little bit, and I said, what's going on now? Still sitting in the car. I don't know. We walked in the trailer, Tony says. I said, please tell me you ain't bringing a hockey stick out. Tony says, well, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know what you're going to do.
Put the window net back
Yeah.
up.
I said, if that guy comes down there, I have one chance. I'm going to have to use my car. Thanks for the story, Tony. It was a good
that is
story,
fun.
but
Oh,
it's
man.
a long weekend.
I tell you what, we're going to have to take a little break here. We need to thank some of our sponsors, and one of our big sponsors we want to give a shout out to, and hopefully this commercial runs long enough because I really got to go to the bathroom, but let's hear from Muskox. Hey, if you move snow with a skid steer, you've got to see the Muskox difference. A patented back drag feature allows operators to blow snow while back dragging in front of obstructions. You know, garage doors, siding, and fire hydrants. Now, this saves time and money while lowering injury risk by decreasing manual labor. The optional dual auger, called the dually, helps the operator eat through big snowfalls, ice-crusted snow, and blow more snow while back dragging. And the glide plate, it allows you to glide over grass and gravel without ripping up the soft surfaces. Subsequently, create an instant torque of the lower cutting edge to break up snow and ice to better expose hard surfaces. See the Muskox difference. Go to muskox.com or Facebook at Muskox Snowblowers or call 218-288-1905. See the difference for yourself. It's the Muskox difference.
All right. Thank you, Muskox. Also want to thank our friends at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. When it comes time for an oil change, stop in a Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Most oil changes are done within 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more. Transmission and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. Includes your oil change. They'll top off all your fluids. Check the battery lights, wipers, and cabin air filter, which is very important. You'll get discounts for fleets to the military, too. They can text emails or text and email invoices and mention GFBS and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change is open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. A pickup delivery is available within Grand Forks. Actually, I heard they'll pick up in Minto too if you need something done. Give them a shout there. Just kidding on that. Complete oil changes and more, 3325 South 38th Street, or call 701-780-8462 and tell them GFBS sent you. And if you said that Chad read that, Ben will give you even more off. So there you go.
I just have a kick seeing if people can read my writing. Thank you very much.
I always can read your handwriting. It's clean.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
been
By the
better.
way, we still have those pair of passes. If you want to go down to the Midsummer Gone Country Music
Come on,
Fest,
in
June
Monaga.
1st through the 3rd, Monaga, Minnesota. 14 big bands over 3 days. These things are worth $300. All you got to do is reach out to us, okay? Reach out to us, gfbsource.com. Hit the contact us link at the top of the webpage, and just leave us a message saying, I want those tickets. Brodee and Bobby Eckerdt on the Dirty Thursday show today, brought to you by River Cities Speedway. Now, we were talking to you, Brodee, earlier about how it is with being in high school. Probably a lot of people that you go to school with that you bump into every single day have no idea what you do. And that's where it comes into the IMCA Wissota thing. Do you wish that you raced on a weekly basis in Grand Forks, at River Cities? Because, well, for one reason alone, where you might have these guys in the hallway going, "Damn, man, I saw you run the other night," and you blah blah. You know what I mean? Would you like to race here more?
Well, yeah, I like to track here a lot. If I ran here more, it's closer to home, so we get home earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Fargo's fun. I really enjoy it there.
You do.
Too. Yeah.
Do they get as good of a crowd?
Usually I would say, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They get a pretty good crowd there.
Yeah.
I think with everything else, it all depends on what happens that day, right? So I mean, yeah, the lake goers and everything else, but that grandstand is massive there too. I mean, they have a nice grandstand. Do a great job with the track. They seem to pull in good attendance there. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I haven't been to that racetrack since it was a half-mile track.
Yeah.
And I used to go up there for the World of Outlaws. Some of the boringest racing that back with the half mile in these World of Outlaws. Yeah. I mean, the difference between first, second, third, fourth, fifth could have been 15 seconds.
Yeah.
You don't see that now.
No.
You don't see that at River City Speedway. I mean, the first through 10th could be a second and a half.
Especially
difference.
they catch lap traffic, in lap 7?
Yeah, right.
I mean, so that's a big difference there.
That is a huge difference.
Yeah.
Steven Ader, Brodee Eckerdt is the best hobby stock driver. Steven Ader's, I think he's got a man crush on you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good buddies at the track.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. I run into him where he works. My son lives over in that neck of the woods in Fargo. And so once in a while, I'll go into the store where Stevenator works, and it's like, hey, what's up? And there he is, usually on a Sunday.
I ran into Stevenator at a Fargo Force game. I went down to watch a Sioux Falls Stampede play because Jackson Panzer plays with them. So I went and watched. Went and watched Mr. Panzer, and he comes in and he's like, "Oh, you're here to watch the Force?" And I'm like, "No, I'm here to watch the Stampede." He's like, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." he got on me pretty good, Stevenator did. But I tell you what, that kid is a character. I love talking to him at the racetrack.
The sport of dirt track racing.
Yeah.
They can use a lot more
A
Stevenators.
lot more Stevenators.
You're absolutely right. You are
so much
absolutely
positivity between every feature race when he's there. Him and I'll find each other and we'll pick a winner. And if I lose, oh man, he tells me.
Yeah.
You know, he's very aware. So yeah.
Billy Schletter, hopefully we can. Can we finally say it's race day Friday tomorrow? I don't want to juju
No, I'm not going to say nothing yet.
No, as far as I know, we're not racing.
It's 44 degrees outside right now.
Just yesterday that, it was 90 or 88, whatever it was. All of a sudden the wind picked up. And all of a sudden, the temperature dropped about 20. Now, this is funny because we were supposed to start catfishing last night for league.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's still, the ramps are pretty muddy, on the north end. We didn't want to wreck anything, destroy anything. You're talking 30 trucks with trailers and boat, and
Yeah.
And then, but the one guy kept saying, and the wind is really supposed to pick up. It would be miserable. I couldn't imagine being out there if when that wind hit,
wind picked up.
Oh, it would have been
fast.
crazy.
Yep.
How about this? Congratulations, John Biergard. You won yourself the tickets to the Midsummer Gone Country Music
You're
Fest.
going to Magana.
Yep, you better make sure you got your cowboy boots on there, buddy. You're going to have a good time.
Lace them up.
Yeah.
Or they don't lace, you slip them on.
Sorry. Lace them up. Got a cowboy boots you wear.
I'm not telling.
So, talking about this year, you got a pretty aggressive schedule, as aggressive as you can be with what you want to do. Now, we talked about you rolling your car. Is that the only bad wreck you've been in?
Well, Devil's Lake, like last year. We were there and somebody put me into the wall and I kind of rode the fence a little bit. But
Down the front straightaway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right down the
At least
front
half of it.
straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you destroyed a car, junk.
Yep.
How do you? What's Dad say about that?
Oh, I can tell you. I got a phone call.
Oh, you did.
Sorry, bro. Sorry. But that was a funny phone call.
I want to know about this phone call.
Huh? No, it's
Okay.
secret. Secret time.
So all of a sudden, are you scrambling, looking for another car, or what'd you do?
Well, it was basically the end of the year, so we didn't have any more shows after that.
Yeah.
But we had a new car sitting there, like an old 2020, I'm pretty sure. And we just built that. And the Fargo car that we had for that year, we made that into our Ada car. So now
okay.
Our new car is what we had yesterday at the Test and Tune, and that's what we've been racing in Fargo for the past year.
So you know, make sure I'm right here. You got 2 cars for a track for Ada, so it's set up ready to go, and then track for Fargo ready, set up, and go. So there's not a lot of testing. Like you can just go. That's actually very, very smart.
Yeah. How many high school kids have 2 race cars?
No.
No, 1.
Yeah. One. Yeah. But look how smart that is because
for sure.
Ada races Thursday, so you have no time to prep that thing. And then the next night is Fargo. There's no time to take care of that either. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty crazy. There's 2 guys I know that ran IMCA Hobby Stocks, the Beater boys out of Minot. Brock and Brandon, you've actually raced against them right here in Grand Forks. But they used to race. They used to take their hobby stock, change it over to a street stock in one night, and race in Mandan. And then that's a Saturday night. Then they'd come home, change it that night, wake up Sunday and race hobby stock in Minot. There, they did that for a full year one time.
Yeah. Wow.
But the reason why I say that this kid's a wheel man because those guys I've watched, right? I watched Brandon Beater go down the IMCA Super Nationals and win heats and win. I mean, he won the Winter Nationals, I think it was one year. Brandon Beater is a wheel man. Mm-hmm. He came up here. Brandon's been now doing Darn TV, and his kid Max runs now.
Yep.
But Brandon came up here one time, and when we had hobby stocks here, it was him and Brock, and it was in his heat. And that's how I'd be like, this kid's going to be really good. You hold off these two veteran drivers, and there's a lot more in that class, don't get me wrong, but those are the two that I know the most that have pretty successful careers in the hobby stock division. To hold those two guys off, that's a pretty substantial feat. And he did it. I mean, so that's where you look at this guy, like, he's just getting started, really.
Right. Oh, sure. And we keep getting texts, Brodee, about your dad. But you are off to an incredible start.
Amazing start.
Where, it's probably not going to be as long as it took him to get all these great posts about him and texts, but you're going to be the guy they're going to be talking to in the future. Stephen Ader says, I remember when my dad and Bobby raced each other, and I want to get this one couple here.
Get it.
Kevin Pappenfuss, my last feature win was in Mike Jeffers' car after I retired. I was so shocked when I won because I had to get by Bobby for the win, and that was hard because he was so dominant. And Stephen Ader Olson, Billy Schletter wants to know who's going to win the Stanley Cup. All I know is not a Canadian team. What? That one was for Stephen Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
He's a Canadian guy.
So knowing that, now we're trying to groom them a little bit as announcers to get more out of you, because this little thing is going to grow and grow and grow. You're going to have to do a lot more victory lanes, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So get ready for that, because that's coming. I can see that happening, and you're going to have a lot of fun with those. So start smiling a little bit inside there. That's going to be good. Oh, look at that crap. I got a smile right there.
How about that?
Boom. Where's that button? Shush.
Yeah,
Give me that. Thank you.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Oh, don't shut it off now.
Yeah.
I just got it going. All right.
And the thing is, have you talked to him in Victory Lane anywhere?
He won here in Grand Forks. Yeah.
Okay, oh, that's right. Okay, so I don't remember. Was he excited?
About the same right now. Yeah. We'll see.
Ooh.
I think Dad was more
Settle
excited
down,
coming around with the four-wheeler than he was.
Oh, I bet.
But not saying he wasn't excited. Like, this is how he is. So if you out there in TV world think that this is an excitement, this is a pretty standard right now. So inside, he's a duck in a pond.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I can see the emotion was there, the excitement was there. We just didn't know what to talk about. So we just kind of leveled it off.
Sure.
So.
That's kind of what you have to do.
Yeah.
What was it like your first win here at River Cities Speedway?
Oh, it was great. I've grown up watching it here, and actually racing on the track was just amazing. I loved it.
Did you get goosebumps when you drove onto it?
The first time,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, wow, I'm really here racing on this track.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot
real.
of guys in that IMCA world that we run that race at the end of the year. It's a bucket list race for them to come race here, because not a lot of opportunities happen here. So just to even get on there to show how much success your dad had, and a Hall of Famer, for you to come on there, do you change your mindset that it's a must? No, I mean, obviously everything's a must win, but you really want to win at this one.
Yeah, I really want to, because, like, as you said, my dad's a Hall of Famer, and
Yeah.
I kind of want to make my mark. As a
Amen.
racer.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I like
no
it.
kidding.
Yes.
Do you know how many features you have won now in your short career?
Well, since, like, hobby stock or just like in general?
Whatever. Because he's got 97 career wins.
In my 4 years racing hobby stocks, I have 26.
Ain't going to be long.
Bobby, he's gonna.
Quietest I think
We
I've
have
ever
this
seen the
talk
guy.
quite often.
He's right there already.
I think with his go-kart wins, I
It's
think
like
he's
87 or something like that.
it's enough, but he ain't gonna get to count them.
I know, that's yep. We got to make a buy-centered on that. And we wanted to talk about, sorry, John, we want to talk about the win thing, the win streak.
Yes,
You mentioned that.
Let's correct that. It was either 58 years or 68 years, the history at Red River Valley Speedway. Brodee set the record as the youngest feature winner ever, and also at the end of the year was the youngest points champion ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a very short time thereafter that he had got that award that Donnie Schatz's niece won her, I would assume, first feature at Red River Valley Speedway, and dethroned Brodee for that award by 2-3 weeks.
Right.
In all fairness to them and their team. But
you held it for a little bit.
Yeah, no
probably
kidding.
never, ever
No.
be upsetted. So
No. And honestly, having, you're wearing a shirt, you having somebody with a Schatz name win, it's not, you can't feel bad about that. I mean, there's a lot of experience there in that camp. to take care of it. But
Yeah.
still,
Bright future for them two.
oh
girls,
my
too.
gosh. But I think you have an awesome future too with what you're
for
doing.
Sure,
My
for
goodness.
Sure. You know, it's got to be dad proud. You know, my son couldn't care less about racing. He was a baseball player and a hockey player, played pro ball and all that kind of stuff. And I had a lot of dad proud moments in my life. Chad's going through it now too. But
Yeah.
how cool is it to be that guy? Like, you know, like he said, he thought maybe you were a little more excited at that win at River Cities than maybe the kid was. But how freaking cool is it? I mean, it's
good stuff,
Yeah,
John.
you almost want to cry and you get the chills and you get all that stuff going at the same time. It's just like, I don't know if I should pucker up and poop or what I should do
Yeah,
because there's so
yeah.
much excitement. But it's crazy, isn't it?
You know, in all fairness to our family, my youngest son, Reese, is 2 years younger than Brodee, and just was, and still probably is, just one heck of a talented young racer too. Reese started when he was 5, which was the youngest, and Brodee was 7 at the time.
Okay.
And one of Dad's faults is too competitive.
Yeah.
Whether
Oh,
we're
yeah.
playing Monopoly or racing,
Oh,
Right.
it's all the same. Right? So
Damn it, it's my turn to win life. God.
we'd go to
Park
one
Place.
funny story about the kids. We'd go to Fargo on Monday nights and they'd race karts. Fargo does a little bit different on the karting. You race for your experience level.
Yep.
Age really doesn't matter a lot, but experience, which is fine. So there was times that Reese, at 5 years old, would race his brother in the karts.
Sure.
And there was a McDonald's that was about 2 miles down the way on the way home. So and I probably never should let this happen because it caused the truck to have to stop on the way home a few times. But whoever won that night, when we stopped at McDonald's to get supper on the way home, if they won, they got 2 extra nuggets in their meal.
Oh, boy.
The other guy got measly 4 nuggets. So it was quite maddening at times, and yet you look back at it now and you almost get tears in your eyes laughing because Reese at 5 years old whooped up on his brother. And
I only have sauce for 6.
yeah, on the way home it was pretty quiet and somber, you know, and he didn't want to poke the bear. You know?
Sure.
And out of the blue, little Reese boy looks over and says, "Brodee, you know what I'm doing?" Brodee couldn't even answer him because the anger was wide open. And Reese says, "I'm eating my 5th and my 6th nugget." So, and with the slingshots, we had a motorhome at the time we were using to pull them, and we'd race out in Jamestown to them slingshots on a Saturday night. And
Yeah.
there was a couple times as they got older that I think we stopped in Valley City or on the side of the interstate and had to break up an argument or a fight.
That was going to be my next question.
The competitiveness was wide open. But,
Yeah.
You know,
Now, is he still race?
I mean, he could. You know, I tell him at least once a month.
Yep.
You know, I don't ever want you to feel that you don't have the same opportunities your brother.
Right.
And out of the blue one day, Reese is very athletic. He just said, "I want to concentrate on playing sports."
There's nothing wrong with that. You can't
No.
force your kids.
No.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if it boiled down to it and your little brother pisses you off now, can you beat him up?
You know, it goes half and half.
No, it does, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to learn how to fight dirtier.
Jesus, John.
He's his little brother. Good. So we know your dad.
Stay after him and teach you some moves.
Now, come on my show. That's the last thing you want to do as a parent. So not only do you have your dad helping you on the car, but does anybody else help you? Is there just kind of a family deal here?
Well, Tim Berg comes
Sure.
with us on Thursdays in Ada, and he helps a lot. So, yeah, and you think just like a lot of people around the track sometimes help, but
And you know, we
awesome.
always talk about the family aspect of it and how
Yes.
these certain sanctioning bodies and groups, they all get. But is it that way with you too, running with these IMCA guys? I mean, if somebody's got an issue, you'll do what you can to help and vice versa?
well, yeah, I have 2 friends that race, one sport mod, one hobby. I like to help them a lot.
Sure.
because they're fairly new. They're newer than me.
Okay.
So I just try to help them as like get the feel of everything and stuff like that.
Right. Sponsors, did you bring your cheat sheet?
Nope.
Can you name your sponsors?
Broken Drum.
Hey, how about that?
Gateway
Gotta love the
Senex.
drum.
My dad owns Gateway Senex, so we got that on the car.
Yep.
Precision, plumbing and heating. And I can't remember the rest.
You know, when you
That's okay.
Yeah, when you mentioned Gateway Senex many years ago, not only was I in radio, but I worked out at Wells Concrete, and I was there for 20 years as a foreman. But there was another guy that worked there at that time. His name was Bob. He had a little bit longer black hair, but I used to talk to him. I don't know if he was a manager or something, but I was running that Enduro series that they had at Buffalo River way back in the day. And Gateway Senex actually was one of my sponsors. Maybe you didn't know that, but I went to this guy. Basically, what he did was gave me a bunch of used tires, oil, things like that. You know,
Sure.
no money, but the things you kind of need.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I thought his name was Bob Eckerdt, but it wasn't. Yeah, that's funny that happened that way.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool back in the day.
Heck yeah.
It used to be highway host standard back in the day.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. How
Started
long you been there?
I started working there in 1986. My wife and I bought it in 95.
Okay, so Perry was there then.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, Perry was worked for Lauren Dusterhoff.
Oh,
on
okay.
the Demers.
Okay. I thought he was out of Gateway. All right. Well, oh no. Yeah, it was Demers. That's it. It was Demers. I was thinking, Jesus, 80s was hard on me, man.
80s.
I tell you what. You got any questions? I'm
asked
about
mine.
out.
I think this was cool. I know I got here late, but it's just cool because the amount of history that's in this room right now is pretty neat. And not only with Bobby, but being one of the youngest winning drivers
Yeah.
in Red River Valley Speedway and being the youngest points champion in River Valley Speedway, we got to really note that. Especially, everybody looks at hobby stocks as a beginner thing, but there's a lot of old legend drivers that drive hobby
Hell
stocks.
yeah! And if you were looking at the pictures in the background, you can
Yeah.
see the car. You're not a bragger or a loudmouth, obviously.
No, he's very quiet.
You're pretty humble, aren't you?
Yes, very.
What happens? I mean, do you even get excited when you win a track championship?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a little more excitement there. Instead of like, oh yeah, I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I'm just kidding.
Well, at least he didn't look at
He-
somebody else for an answer.
Yeah,
right?
no, he'll get there. I
Oh,
mean,
for sure,
The
for
more
sure.
he wins, the more he comes down. I've gotten guys now to come down to victory lane and hug me. They didn't used to do that before. So you got to make the emotion come out of you a little bit, but you will get there, dude, because you're just going to keep on winning. And it doesn't, honestly, if you move up to a mod, I hope you try it this year. I know you're going to try it this year. And watch out for the race nights. Be careful you don't screw up the rookie of the year next year. But the way you drive that hobby stock and the way you're going to drive the wheelman behind you in your competition with you, you're going to be very, very successful. And I can't wait to see that happen.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know who your favorite driver is. If you've tried to model yourself after anybody, I'm kind of guessing I have an idea. But especially when it comes to victory lane, you can kind of watch some of the guys that have been there over and over and over again. So if you ever do learn or try to get any hints about victory lane, just don't follow Mark Dobmeyer, because if you grab Chad's ass during an interview in victory lane, I don't think he'd like it.
No, I get the woohoos, like, so Mark, I was woohoo, that was a little something there. But the emotion will come out later. You'll find the big wins, and it'll just keep on happening for you. And you got a lot of support, man. So just soak it up like a sponge, like I told you. I can't wait to watch this happen.
Yeah, I can't either. It's
Yep.
going to be great. Awesome having both of you guys on the show.
This was cool.
It just
He called me this morning.
did he?
Yeah, because he's like, "Are you going to be there?" And I'm like, "Well, right now it's crazy busy."
Yeah.
And then I didn't expect some unwanted visitors today. So not unwanted, just today was the wrong day.
Yeah.
So, and I had everything lined out. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Okay, everybody's going. Okay, I'm gonna leave at 10:45 like I usually do. I'll be here at like 11. And then they showed up, and I'm like, oh. Okay, let's text real quick, and they say I gotta do this. But no, I wanted to be here for this one because these are cool guys. I know them both. So,
yeah. Corey Palm says need to get Brodee in a wingless sprint. I don't think the old man would be too happy about that.
I don't dislike him, but I go back to my history, what I'm comfortable with.
yeah.
Sure. Maybe a little out of your wheelhouse a little bit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have Mark Dobmeyer on the show next week. I don't know if I'm going to be here.
We're going to work on a replacement.
Yes.
Yep.
He's got to get back down to the cities for another doctor's appointment, which is okay because we want to see him race the following day, hopefully. But tell you what, folks, all you people that have been texting and everything, if you've got any ideas for a show next week, because you might be the host, I'm not sure if I'll even be here, but
Right.
feel free to text us.
It's going to go downhill quick.
Yeah. Feel free to text us if you know somebody that might make a good guest on a Dirty Thursday brought to you by River Cities Speedway. Shoot us a text, and we'll see what we can do. But right now, we're really kind of up in the air with who we're going to have on next week. But
Josh Barker, if you're out there, you want to come on, let's get her done.
yeah, all right. You know what to do.
Yep.
All right. Brodee, Bobby, you guys, I know you're going to have another fantastic year this year. Running 2 cars is going to be great. I'm looking forward to watching you at River City Speedway this year.
Yes,
Bobby,
yes.
I have been dreaming about this day for a long time to get you on here. You can't go a Friday night without hearing his name for some reason. He hasn't raced forever, but you still hear his name all the time.
If you want to find him, if he's there, if Brodee's not racing, he's in one spot the whole time. That's where he sits. I know exactly where it's at. Yep. Right in the middle.
Hall of Famer.
Can't miss him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
No, thank you guys. It's awesome to talk to you guys like this. It's cool.
There you go. Brodee Eckerdt, Bobby Eckerdt.
Good luck, dude.
Yeah, the B1 and the B2 on a Dirty Thursday brought to you by River City Speedway. Thank you guys for coming in. And also, we want to give Rumors a big shout out. Rumors been on Dirty Thursday from the beginning. Man, BT and the crew over there. Hey, Rumors is really into horse racing. Well, round 2 of the Triple Crown is this weekend. The Preakness is this Saturday. They're going to open the doors at Rumors at 9 a.m. so you can go in there and get your bets in. Listen to this, $9 breakfast burgers from 10 to 1 today, $3 pounders all day, and $1.50 tacos all day long. Rumors Sports Bar and Casino. Go check it out. Boy, what a great place to watch the Preakness, huh? Rumor Sports Bar and Casino. All right, let's see. Quick reminder, Fork Sports Highway is on tonight at 6:30. I tell you what, Monty and Bill and the crew, probably one of the best sports shows you will ever see. Check it out, 6:30 tonight. Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us, okay? Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. You'll never miss a show that way. Hey, the Grand Cities is a very awesome place. Grand Forks' best source is giving it an identity again.